students, today we are going to learn chapter 6 life processes. Here see, in the case of the desert plant, the stomata remain open during the night to conserve water. Here you can see the carbon dioxide is observed at night, and it is converted to the intermediate product. This product is converted to carbohydrate during the daytime through the energy absorbed by the chlorophyll. Thus, you can say that the synthesis of carbohydrate take place during daytime when sunlight is available. Carbohydrates stored in the form of starch. Thus, the entire photosynthesis process can be given by the equation as we have seen earlier, the 6CO2 plus 6H2O in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight, and gives say 6H12 or 6 plus 6O2. When 6 molecule of carbon dioxide combine with 6 molecule of water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, 1 molecule of glucose is generated with the molecule oxygen. Now we can understand site of photosynthesis. The process of photosynthesis takes place only in green plants, you all know, occurring mostly in the leaves in the green colors. We can also say that some green colored part of plant is stem and flora, you may say floral part. Here we can say that the nutrition is of autotrophic mode. And also you can say that the photosynthesis occurs in the chloroplast where chlorophyll is present. If we take example, you may say a microscopic slide of this transverse section of dicot leaf. So we can see two types of parenchyma cells, elongated cells and circular cells. It will be in the mesophyll region, and we can observe under the microscope. Some cells you will find in the elongated shape and some in circular shape. And see radially this elongated cell, palisade, parenchyma, which are compactly arranged with each other, and circular cells are spongy parenchyma which are loosely arranged. It means you may find some space between these circular cells, whereas you will not find the space between the elongated cells. These both cells contain chloroplast. So the number of chloroplasts are more in palisade cells. As the mesophyll contains the cell have the chloroplast, the process of photosynthesis occur in mesophyll. So it is very important to keep in mind that it may be asked in 1 mark question for the difficulty level. The question may be, say the location where the photosynthesis process occurs in plant cell. Now we can understand that the upper layer of leaf and lower layer of leaf are made up of epidermis. Epidermis, the region you will find on the surface of plant leaf. In the lower layer of a leaf, stomata is situated, and both the side there is a covering called waxy cuticle. This prevents the rapid evaporation of water and protect from the loss of water. The waxy cuticle on the upper surface also reflects some harmful solar radiation, and the leaf appears shiny due to the waxy layer of this cuticle. Now we can see the raw materials for photosynthesis. You know, the raw materials are necessary for the process of the photosynthesis, which are carbon dioxide and water, as we have explained previously. In the presence of chlorophyll in sunlight, they synthesize the food materials in the form of carbohydrate, C6H12O6 and oxygen. That's why we can say they meet their energy requirements necessary for other life processes. Carbon dioxide gas in taking into stomata situated on the leaf surfaces. Now we can understand the importance of each raw materials is required for the photosynthesis, and for that we have to perform an activity, and for that we have to observe, you may say understand the experiment to demonstrate that chlorophyll is necessary for photosynthesis. As chlorophyll is important, same way carbon dioxide also important, sunlight also important for the process of the photosynthesis. First, we will go to understand by this activity how chlorophyll is necessary for photosynthesis. As you can see in this picture, we have to take a croton plant, and first we have to keep the plant in dark for 3 days so that there is no photosynthesis process take place. keeping in dark place, you can understand there all the reserved food, whatever got previously in the presence of sunlight in the form of starch is utilized by the plant during this time when we keep in darkened place, and then keep this plant in the sunlight for about 6 hours. Now pluck a leaf of that plant and mark the green area on it. Now put this leaf in the boiling water for a few minutes and then remove this leaf from that water and merge in a beaker containing alcohol. Now this beaker carefully put in a water bath and heat it gently. It now burn heating alcohol, and due to this heat the leaf going to be decolorized. It means the chlorophyll in the leaf is dissolved from the green areas and the color of the solution appears there greenish. Now take out this leaf and wash under the water. Then immerse this leaf in the dilute solution of iodine for a few minutes and take out the leaf and again wash under the water flow of this iodine solution, and you will find some regions of the leaf which lack of chlorophyll and it do not turn bluish black, so that we can say that the starch is absent in the part of the leaf which are devoid of chlorophyll. Hence, there is no bluish black color developed in the part outside the marked area. However, photosynthesis did not occur. This experiment helps us to conclude that the photosynthesis cannot proceed in the absence of chlorophyll. Here we understand that except for chlorophyll, all other factors were available for photosynthesis. In this part of the outside mark area of leaf, and we have studied that the carbon dioxide is also important raw materials for the process of photosynthesis. And so the question may be raised in our mind that can photosynthesis occur if carbon dioxide is absent? So we have to understand for that by the another activity to understand this. So activity is like this. First we have to take two healthy potted plants for the same type and size, and then keep the plants in the dark area for 3 days to de-starch them. Then now place each plant on the separate glass plate. Now place a watch glass containing potassium hydroxide by the side of one of the plant, and you know this potassium hydroxide is used to absorb carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide is necessary for the photosynthesis process. That's why we have to arrange this at one plant, and then we have to cover this both plant with bell jars, and then label them A and B, and also seal this bell jar with Vaseline to make this setup airtight. Means air should not come inside, and some process happening there not should go outside. Now keep the plants in the sunlight for 2 hours. Now pluck a leaf from each of these plants, from A and B. Now both the leaf have to put in boiling water for a few minutes. Check the presence of starch with the help of iodine solution. See now, we observe the leaf plucked from the plant and kept under the glass jar A remains as it is. Whereas in plant B, we will see the different thing, because in jar A, no purple color developed here, and see in jar B, leaf plucked from this plant kept under the glass jar B, the purple color developed there. So, which indicate that the formation of starch, and we conclude that in jar A, carbon dioxide was not available for the process of the photosynthesis, and it was absorbed by the potassium hydroxide as we have kept near it. And hence there was no formation of and showing the development of starch, whereas in the jar B all the necessary raw materials are available, and leaf shows the development of purple color due to the formation of starch. Therefore, we can conclude that the photosynthesis cannot take place without carbon dioxide. So, now we know that the chlorophyll and carbon dioxide are necessary raw materials for the photosynthesis. Now we will proceed the another activity and see that the sunlight is quite critical for the process of the photosynthesis, and for that activity is such a type that we have to take a potted plant having broad green leaves. Then see, we have to keep this plant in the dark for 3 days to discharge its leaves. And for that, in all cases we are keeping the plant in dark area, because whatever the food stored in the form of starch, you may say in ATP, it can be used there in their own functions, and it should be discharged. Now for this activity, sunlight is necessary for the photosynthesis. We have to take the Gangon's light screen. It is the device to prevent sunlight to some part of the plant, and we have to keep this Gangon's light screen on the discharged leaf, and then keep it in a light up to 6 to 8 hours. If the Gangon's light screen is not available, then we can use some opaque type black paper or aluminium foil and cover the leaf, and we have to keep this aluminum foil tightly with the help of paper clip, and we can understand that sunlight does not reach under this size where aluminum foil is kept there, and remaining part of the leaf remain in the exposed of sunlight, and we can see there the aluminum foil or Gangon plate. Inside, you may say in middle part, there is a exposed part like star shape. So around it is closed with the plate, but some part exposed in sunlight, so we can understand what will happen there. See, now we have to remove this Gangon plate and then keep this leaf in the alcohol kept in a small beaker. Now keep this beaker in a large beaker which contains water, and supply the heat to it, and start heating this gently till the alcohol begins to boil. Now we have to boil the green leaf in the alcohol till all the chlorophyll is removed from the leaf. Now leaf becomes decolorized. Then remove the leaf and wash it with water and place the leaf in petri dish and pour a few drops of iodine solution over it. So we will find there the uncovered part of the leaf which was exposed in sunlight, it turns blue-black on addition of iodine solution. So this indicates that the starch is present in the exposed part of the leaves. The star-shaped hole of Gannon's light screen is also, you will find same color because it synthesizes some starch, and by this we can conclude that the covered part of the leaf which was covered does not contain starch because absent of photosynthesis. The part of the leaf exposed to sunlight, it performs photosynthesis and contains starch. Thus, sunlight is very necessary for photosynthesis. After performing these activities, you may say experiments, we can say why are plants kept in the dark when we want to determine the factors essential for photosynthesis. And here we want to determine the essential factors for the photosynthesis as chlorophyll, carbon dioxide and sunlight. So you can understand that the plants are always kept in dark to discharge them, and you know that the starch is the reserved food. You may say reserved food materials utilized during the dark period and will allow the plant to survive till photosynthesis does not occur there. See, here we are going to understand now the nutrients necessary for photosynthesis. So, which nutrients are necessary for this photosynthesis process? So, autotrophs are need here CO2 and water to obtain carbohydrates through the photosynthesis process. In addition to carbohydrate, they need regulating nutrients such as protein, vitamins, minerals, etc. So these materials are taken up by plant from the soil as shown in the picture. And you also know then that with these materials, the nitrogen is also necessary for the synthesis of proteins. And this nitrogen plants take from the soil. Some plants also absorb the nitrogen from air. So nitrogenic salts are there, nitrates and nitrites. And as we have told previously, see, they also absorb the nitrogen in the organic compound which are produced by bacteria. In this, you will see there insectivorous plants or carnivorous plants show the heterotrophic nutrition. Here you can see the peach plant. It grows in the nitrogen deficient soil, and for their food it traps some insects in the pitcher, and the walls of this pitcher, this secretes some digestive glands, you may say digestive enzymes, and digest it. So the nitrogenous protein requirements are fulfilled by digesting the insect food. So this type of plant, they getting nitrogen with the help of this. Now we are going to understand the heterotrophic nutrition. So see, the heterotrophic nutrition, we can say there that the organisms which depend on other organisms for their food requirements are heterotrophic nutrition. You can see here all animal and fungi are classified under the heterotrophs. So you can see there are the different strategies by which organisms obtain their food. Is the body design, organization and the functioning of various metabolic activities. They form an important part of the strategy, and you can say that the availability of food materials is also equally important for the heterotrophic nutritive process. We can see here the yeast, fungi and mushroom. They break down the food materials into simple substances, and this process of the breakdown occurs outside their body, followed by the absorption of these substances. The process of the absorption takes place throughout the entire body surface. In case of yeast, the mushroom have absorptive hypha, you may say hyphae, and some carnivorous plant also show a similar strategy. They digest the food with the help of digestive juices secreted by their digestive glands. And you can understand by this that some organisms take in whole food and break it down into a simple substances inside the body. Later on, these simple substances are absorbed by the body. Animals like cow, cat and even human beings show this type of strategy for the nutrition. Some animals as well as plants derive their nutrition from other plants or animals without killing them. However, they might harm the host plant or the host animals in this process. The plant Cuscuta or amarvel, and some animals like lice, take, leeches and trapworm are exhibiting this strategy for their food. These plants show the presence of special absorptive roots which penetrate inside the host and absorb some substances for their food. The animals sucking mouth parts for absorption of food from the host. It is observed that as the complexity of organism increases, some of the organs of the body becomes specialized to perform a specific functions. And we can say most of the process of the digestion takes place within the mouth and alimentary canal. See, the structure of mouth and the alimentary canals differs in different animals. In higher animals, these specialized organs together constitute a complex digestive system. For example, the stomach and intestine and some salivary glands associated there for this system.